was really nice.
Welcome to Psychic Holistic Spotlight of Rhode Island. I'm Kathy Acosta, your host for today, and we also have Patty McGarrahan co-hosting with me. So we have a guest today, though, that's been reading for a very long time, since I was a child, way before I knew about any of this stuff. So she does a lot of different kinds of readings, which is quite interesting. I've been reading for almost 20 years, and there's some stuff I haven't even heard of. Her name is Starra. She's been reading for, how long have you been saying you've been reading for?
Just under 50 years.
Yeah, so that's a long time. So we're just going to get started how she got into it, though. And it's just, she works at, you work at a metaphysical shop, though, right?
Yes,
okay.
At the Robin's Nest in Bellingham, Mass.
Okay. So what got you started in this?
I was fascinated as a youngster, and then as a preteen, in terms of like candle magic, and we did, like a seance, just experimenting back then. And one thing grew to the other, and just curiosity and reading books, and not getting questions answered from regular traditional sources. So there went the curiosity into the metaphysical world, and one thing branched and kept branching and going for it.
Yeah, that's why I enjoy the metaphysics, though. You always get the answers. You always get the why.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
You always get the why. Yeah. So, so you read cards, and you read. There's other modalities that you read, though, as well, right?
Yes, I actually apprenticed for 2 years when I was 15 until I was 17, and had apprenticed using the regular cards.
Okay.
So, and then I went back and went into the tarot, and then got self-taught, and then had some classes with that as well. During that time, I developed into numerology and had some classes, palmistry, sand channeling. I kind of got just pushed into that.
Yeah.
And what it is actually a friend of mine had gotten sand from different parts of the world too, which was kind of cool.
Okay, yeah.
But Rocky's store had, the House of Zodiac, way back when, had a little bit of sand that you could read with. But in any case, so you put it in a bowl, and you let the person just play in it, and you rotate it, and you begin to see the symbols, whether it's just basic symbology or different alphabets, and then you wait for you as the intuitive to let it channel through so that it begins to make some sense and into the language that I can understand.
Okay.
So, I mean, I'll see like passing of the river letters, I'll see different alphabets, the Sanskrit from the Hindu, and I don't know that language, so I have to wait for it to somehow channel through and translate.
Oh, wow.
And it's fascinating. And you could get pictures and all sorts of things.
Nice.
So
I do a lot of this, but I got to tell you, I did in Canton, Mass, when I had started reading professionally, and I went to a store with gems and stuff like that. And when I went into the store, they had a woman from Romania that read coffee grounds. And she did this little 10, 15-minute reading that was so much information, it boggled my mind. So for my job, I had to go there every once in a while, and I hit that store, and I'd see her even if I didn't need a reading, because I loved watching her do it.
Absolutely, we can do, yeah, they taught me with the tea leaves too, and then when I was working at the tea room, Regina Russell's, you have to do different things, and they would come in for tea readings, so I got even more practice doing that while I was there.
Excellent.
It is, and then the coffee, I mean, once you get into it, the intuitive part, you can just almost read anything. And the rest, the apprenticing part is the training and a little bit more of the meta-science behind it.
Now, one of the things that you were saying that just kind of blew my mind was, because I had a problem with that, you did it naturally and then you got tutored in it. Did you have a problem at first when you started learning it, when what came naturally, and getting a little bit mixed up.
Okay, I'll have to think back on that. But you know, okay, so I'm challenging myself with the Angel Tarot deck by McHenry right now.
Okay.
And that is by no means a traditional tarot deck. And is it confusing? I guess in some sense, you have to still learn to balance what you're taught from others, what he's trying to project, and the instinctiveness that you have. I guess the best way to answer that is kind of drawing from all sources, and then just going back to the instinctive part,
Right.
or the shamanic part, or and just letting it roll.
Well, what happened to me is I did readings for over 15, 18 years, and then I took a beginning class because somebody bugged me to take it with them. And there was a purpose for that. Actually, the woman was a shaman, and I'd been looking for a shaman to do a shaman apprenticeship. But in it, by the 4th class, I couldn't read because everything that came naturally, I was overthinking it with what I learned. So she had me get a different deck, and the different deck combined the learned with the natural.
Nice.
And her doing that was so brilliant. And then the last day of class, she sent out shamanic journeying things. And I'd been looking for just exactly what she had to give. So it was very exciting. But I thought that was brilliant because, I never would have thought of that.
Yeah, no, I've had to just find what I'm comfortable with and learn how to not get confused.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, seriously, that's true.
Yeah. Because you get so much information now. So, when you're giving readings to people for the messages, though, do you still actually look at, like, say, the cards or the sand or the palms? Because, like, I was told, I didn't know I was doing this. I was reading cards, and I was told I don't even look at the cards when I'm giving the messages, which I didn't realize I was even doing. Do you find yourself actually looking at the cards?
Absolutely,
though?
I do.
Okay.
I use both the tradition of the meaning and also the intuitive to lay out how to all put it together.
Okay.
The message does change, but there are patterns that you can go by, and that's where some of the actual learning is, instead of just the instinctiveness.
Right.
But from when we were talking, you two are much more developed in the mediumship part than I am. And what I'm finding is that is totally instinctual.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
absolutely.
yeah, definitely.
But in there, what I do is sometimes I look at the cards to start if the people are more closed off. If they're not closed off, I kind of read their energy, but I always look down at the cards because the cards will always have that one thing that I didn't get from their energy. And
yeah,
so
I find that
do
too
both,
sometimes,
yes.
though. Yeah. Sometimes though, like if I'm just doing just the mediumship away from the cards, like I need the crystals that I have on my table, and I just stop playing with them though because I need that distraction, just to get that connection there going. Because if I start thinking too hard, it's too much, you know,
But the
and I just
cards
stop.
also form a fabulous. Do you find that they're fabulous as far as distracting the client? So they start looking at the cards and they take down those walls.
Yes. And also, I can go back to rely on the cards too if there's some emotional moment, and I can go right back and say,
Perfect.
But the message is here, you know, and then we can start working with that too.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful thing.
Back to the different types of scrying, pendulum reading. I do a medical analysis with that. Well, I shouldn't say. Always have to go to the doctors, you tell them, but and then if I sense anything and read it with the pendulum, I mean, it's just reading the aura as far as that goes, and then you can catch obstructions and things of that nature. You look at the colors, you kind of begin to see how it works with the aura in that particular case. So it's not just using it for yes/no questions.
Yeah. I always figure you can do it that way though too, because I know some Reiki, the energy healers. I know some of them use the pendulums for the different chakras to make sure that keeps going. keep it spinning.
And do you know what I've used it? I do some psychic detective work, and if I need to figure out where the bodies are, and it was a student, it's always a student that like gives you the most brilliant thing that makes you grow, do you know what I mean? And we ended up doing that and going up to New Hampshire and finding bodies, do you know what I mean? So it's pretty cool. The number of uses for a pendulum are like this wide.
Absolutely.
Where I always thought it was just yes and no. Or I'm back in the era where my mother used to do the needle and the thread and you knew what sex the child
Right,
was.
for the child,
It was
yeah.
right every time. It was crazy, yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
And it just keeps growing and growing.
Yeah.
I think you also mentioned with the palm, sure, you can intuitively get things, and that goes into kind of like reading the energy in the aura, but the lines, the hand, the texture, the nails, it'll all give you a lot of information about the person that you're reading.
Okay, yeah.
Now, do you actually do palm readings?
I do.
Cool. I have a guy, Jeremy, at my shop that does it too. But I can do it a little bit, but that is not my forte wheelhouse.
Yeah, yeah. I don't connect with that too much though either. So what was the one thing you started with when you started this many years ago? Was it the palms? Was it the cards?
The cards.
Or was it the cards?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. One, just looking at the tarot and then being trained on the regular cards.
Okay.
And then going back to the tarot. So I have the
So you
most
read
amount
playing
of...
cards too?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
That's good
I
to
can
know.
do that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so technically, I say, and I'm pretty much over 21,000 readings in my
Wow.
lifetime.
Wow.
Now, but that includes things like psychic fairs, where the readings are 5 minutes and they're not 30 minutes long.
Yeah.
And that includes a lot of free work, especially apprenticing, free work for friends, and my own readings too. But yeah, I'm hitting
Yeah, that's a lot.
a lot of readings.
Yeah, that's a lot.
A lot of readings.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
I did. It was a house party and another thing, and then some private readings. And I was so tired on the Sunday because I realized I did 17 readings, but not all of them. Some of them were half-hour ones, not hour ones, because obviously in 24 hours. And Sunday I was like a dish rag.
That's
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah.
We just had the psychic fair at the Robin's Nest in Bellingham, and Shaw was there, who's been on the show before, the Loon Witch, and we all had about 20 readings,
Yeah.
but they were 15-minute readings,
Yeah.
or if a person was having, a half hour, they were doubled up to 15,
Yeah.
not 17
But they were all like
That's a
around.
lot,
There
yeah.
were some of them were
That's
20 minutes to
incredible.
half an hour, and a couple of them were full hour readings. But 10 of them was I had given a gift certificate for animals, because I always do for the Potters League, and the girl wanted to have a Halloween party, so I was already booked. But I fit in her Halloween party, and I was booked here, and booked there, and
Yeah.
it was like, I was pretty tired.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah,
Just a weekend.
that was
Yeah.
a lot of readings.
I have
Yeah.
energy just sitting next to you. Like, wow.
It's the Aquarius rising in a Gemini moon. It's like
Yeah.
the head never stops.
Sagittarius, Scorpio rising, 0° Libra. And yourself, do you know?
Yeah, I'm a Leo. I don't know that to that degree though, but I'm a Leo. My moon is Virgo and a Sagittarius rising. But that's
Okay.
as much as I know. So it's like I know the Virgo that I need to have a schedule. The Leo though, it's just the intensity of everything.
I had to
So,
marry a Taurus, so I didn't fly away.
There we go.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
excellent.
Yeah.
But he had to be on the Aries line because I need a little bit of the fire.
flighty.
The fire part,
Yeah.
definitely,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah. So you don't do astrology though, too, do you?
I touch on it, but I'm
Okay.
not an astrologer. I've had classes, but I am not an astrologer.
Yeah.
But it starts coming up in the readings.
It does.
Like I went to do astrology and it wasn't my gig again, like some of the other
Yeah.
stuff, and it wasn't my gig. But I had a woman that was fantastic that came to like my shop, open houses and classes and stuff. And you'd start talking and she'd say, "Oh, yes, this is your sign and this is your this." And the next time she saw you, she'd hand you your report on your astrology
That's
thing.
fantastic.
Yeah, and she was so good to all of my clients and all the people that I used to give her like some free classes and stuff like that because
nice.
she was
Yeah.
so good to everybody.
Yeah.
Jean Humphrey is how I learned about the show.
Oh,
with
really?
June.
Yeah. Oh.
Only 100 years ago. 30 years
June
ago.
was before my time on the show, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was about, I think it was 25-ish, 30-ish,
Yeah.
probably 25 years ago.
Yeah.
And I met it through Jean, and she worked like the cameras and stuff like that on the show, and that's how I learned about the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So,
It's
yeah, it's a
crazy.
good show that we do. Yeah.
So explain the
Definitely.
sand to me. That I'm a little lost on, and
I should have
I'm intrigued.
I should have brought the whole.
Is it one of those ones that you have like a little thing that moves the sand?
No, that was in Rocky's store. Was that this is an actual deep bowl, and I fill it to about the 3/4 mark. And so, you know, it's good to kind of, you know, sage and just cleanse prior to everything. Because the spirit can come up in some of the mediumship through using that particular tool.
Okay.
But the client, you know, they'll actually, I like it, they just pick it up and it feels good, sands of green and thyme. And then it takes a little bit of time. I like to rotate it clockwise, but that's just me. Anybody can do whatever they would choose with it. And I begin to see the hills, the lines, and the little imprints that it makes. And then, like with some of the information you might have from dream interpretation and tea leaf reading or coffee grain reading, it's a scrying, it's clearly under the scrying tool. And you'll see alphabets and some of the strangest things.
Really?
And
Oh, so intrigued.
and either I will start to jolt it down, but I prefer if the client can to do that. But sometimes they're so enthralled, and but I don't want to get too distracted from being in the moment to try to
Oh, that sounds
continue
fascinating.
to interpret.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
The interpretation is a little rough, so you have to keep working at
Yeah,
it.
it's an older style of scrying, though, right?
It is. It would go
Okay.
back to the idea of Sanskrit and, you know, way back in the Egyptian times and
Yeah.
to the Hindu times on reading it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm very connected to the Egyptian times, though, so that's a really good one for me to learn. Yeah.
It's
Sometimes,
fascinating.
It sounds fascinating.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to see you do it sometime.
Yeah.
That's a-
Yeah. You'll have to do a demonstration
I'll
for
have
us one day.
I'll have to
Yeah.
visit with you and take you.
Yeah.
I would love
Yeah,
that.
absolutely.
I would love that.
So
You brought
for-
some cards with you,
Yes,
huh?
you did.
I did.
I'm sorry.
And you
I'm
two
a
are
pushy
probably
girl.
very familiar with it. I'll use the Toth deck for more personal readings and some private, but for the regular public, this is the Morgan Greer deck, which is a modern type of tarot. It's a takeoff, a little bit different from the Rider-Waite. They all
Yep.
knew each other way
They
back
all knew
when.
each other, yep.
But I find that this particular deck has a lot of freedom and color to it, and it works very well. The public seems to resonate, not be frightened by it. Some people still get frightened from the tarot, believe it or not.
I do realize
even in,
that,
nowadays. So,
Yeah. So what was the name of the deck again?
Morgan Greer.
Morgan Greer. Okay.
Morgan and Greer.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a really nice little deck.
Yeah.
Want to pull one?
Okay, we'll pull one. I already picked it out, so let me just find it. There
And we
we
can
go.
all interpret, yeah. So we have the Nine of Rods, Nine of Staffs. Okay, you could be thinking about a journey. That's one thing you can get. It can also be about building an enterprise, building something with construction, maybe building onto a home. And what might you say too, because you're all readers?
Well, I would take that as that, you know, she's definitely taking charge with the growth for that. You know, because I do more of the pictures though when I see the cards. And definitely there's a lot of like little ideas that she's got going on. No, that's definitely becoming fruitful because of that though. And there's like more than one that's happening there.
Always more than one, you know.
And
me.
Yeah.
You know what's happening
Yes,
with you,
well, and I had it that it's my holistic practice,
Ah.
that I'm expanding some stuff and growing some stuff because COVID did a setback, and a couple of my practitioners retired during it, and one of them kind of cut back a little bit. So, and I realized that I need to make some changes. I'm bringing in a younger crowd, so I need to bring in some different stuff there. So
Excellent.
and it's moving along. So
Yeah.
that's excellent.
Good
yeah.
fortune. That's
Yeah,
great.
I love that
Yeah.
card.
Yeah.
That's a
And
nice
what's
one.
the other deck you had?
Well, no, that's it in here. I just have some stones.
Oh, show me stones.
Oh,
Yeah, we love stones here.
I changed them all out. Let's see what I have in here right now. So,
Oh, I give up Buzz that.
nice little selenite.
Selenite.
Selenite, yep. It's a
and
beautiful piece.
It is. It helps with the whole angel connection, the higher chakra work.
Yeah.
In house clearings, I take the ones about half that size, and I put them on some things that have energies coming off furniture that people don't want to give up the furniture. So it's like
Yeah, it's good for clearing stuff,
clearing
yeah.
and stuff, yep.
Yeah.
Protection.
So I like that one. Oh, if I have, let's see,
I
another
love
bag
bags
of
of
tricks.
stuff. Bags of tricks, yep.
Bags of tricks here. And I can never tell. The pendulum.
Nice.
Some pendulum work though, yeah.
I think this was the.
Oh, mine
This
feels
one
like
I
that
was
too.
at. I've been at Uplifting too in Bridgewater, and this one was re-put together. And I think it's a sucralite. But here we have
Oh, wow.
a nice little one. I do my programming a little bit different than other people.
Okay.
So I particularly like this when we do the yes nos, and this for the no. Other people.
I get the same one for yes and
Do
no.
you?
yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, mine changes sometimes. Yeah,
Once
the
in a
yes,
while
no,
it
maybe
changes, but most
yeah.
of the time that's exactly
Yeah.
what my yes and no is. And I laugh because when my mother did the needle and thread, the circle was female and the line was male.
Male.
Yeah.
And I laughed because I said, so I got the circle as the yes and the boys are the no.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I just thought that's amusing. I
Yeah.
didn't even realize it until like years afterwards.
Yeah, that you just did it
I
that way,
didn't
yeah.
realized it, yeah.
Oh, we've got some energy moving in this room. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Can't imagine why some of the topics we've been on.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, the interesting thing is this stone is supposed to be, I know it would sound strange, but it's a little bit grounding.
Yes.
And that might sound a little, strange wanting to do psychic work with grounding.
Oh, but people like me need to do
Yeah.
a little grounding
Yeah.
when we do it because
I have some tiger's eye though, I know, so I have to keep myself grounded. So, yeah. We need to be here though,
Yep,
tough as it
makes
is.
perfect
Yeah, I
sense,
see some
yep.
tiger's eye for you too though, yeah. I usually have a pocket of like hematite, obsidian, stuff like that though, yeah. So, yeah, we know about the grounding stuff.
Oh, I would bet.
Yeah.
Some of the other things that we, work with at the store and sell too are herbs. I mean, obviously the crystals, but on the holistic part, some of the herbs.
nice.
For the
Things
different
like
things
that.
people are looking for.
Yes. Oh, there's a pair of divination. There's a pair of divination rods left in there. That's kind of fun.
What's that?
Well, besides the fact that they used to use it to find fluid in water, some people oil, but it's really good for the spirits. And see
like
what
a
kind
divining
of
rod.
yeah,
Oh, okay,
yeah.
okay.
Type of thing, yeah.
Okay.
And they spin.
Yeah.
When there's any kind of
Yep.
a lot of energy being
Work
built,
with that
or
with the shaman
I
apprenticeship
mean, I still
program.
use the word ghost, but
Yeah.
I don't know what's the word to use now.
We usually use spirit.
Spirit,
I go-
spirit,
yeah,
thank
and
you.
I do
Okay,
earth-
spirit.
Earthbound spirit and
Yeah.
Okay.
versus, white light spirits.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the ones that's crossed over, yeah.
Yes, we've got all sorts of fun tools in there.
Oh, I'm gonna have to go in there. I haven't been there in a while. So, yeah.
I don't think I've ever been there.
No,
No. To check it out.
Yeah.
please do.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to make it a day trip.
I would.
Yeah.
I would love that.
Yeah.
I would love that.
I know that Robbie does events too out in Rhode Island, so you might have caught her.
Yeah, I think that's how I
that's
reached out to the store. Yeah, she's like, you'll be great for this. I'm like, okay, works for me. So, yeah.
Check it out.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So how do people get a hold of you for readings, to do readings?
Well,
for
I
them?
have the phone number, but I have a site, and you could email me to do PayPal. Also, at Robbie's, I do readings there once a month because she rotates the readers. And if I'm ever at a psychic fair, that kind of thing.
So what's the email address that you use?
Orion's Huntress, ORIONS HUNTRESS
I like that.
at Yahoo.
Yahoo.com.
Yep.
Now, do you have a Facebook page?
I do. It's under Starra.
Starra?
Yep. Starra.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for that.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah.
So that's how they can find you. So what do you see as the common topics of when people are coming for a reading?
It will depend. I mean, for me, it seems to be, a lot of love and I want to say heartache and heartbreak. But then, and sometimes, a little bit on the health. But that seems to be most of the topic. It's interesting when I get a fellow psychic because then, it can branch off and we can have other conversations.
Yeah, those I find nice though too, because it's easier for me to read another psychic because they get the understanding better.
Absolutely.
So you don't have to explain so much from like square one.
And they're not closed off.
Yeah.
They're not closed off.
Yeah.
So that's,
So
you get that person
yeah.
like that.
Yeah, they're tough to read. They don't understand. Yeah.
And I am finding that most people now want medium work.
Yeah.
Yes.
They really do. That seems to be the
And it was
most
so funny
common.
because Spirit was kind of like taking the rug out from under me because I wasn't moving forward with the mediumship. So that's when I went to the shamanic thing, and then they left me alone for about a decade, and then they went to pull the rug out for me again, and I said, I'll do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just didn't know how to fit it into my life, family, a regular job, and doing this, and
You still have a regular job?
not anymore.
I was going to say you're a very busy girl.
No,
from what
I gave
hear.
up the
It's like-
regular job in 2019. So since then, I haven't had the regular job. But it's been, you still do the regular job.
Yeah, I still have a regular job. Yeah.
Regular job on top
Virgo
of it,
part.
yeah.
Yeah.
With Leo, but the Virgo part.
Yeah, I need that, but it's getting to the point though where it's like I'm getting like busier. So I just had 3 fairs though this month though that I was working, so it's just like it's getting there.
It's getting there,
Just a
yeah.
matter of
Do you
time.
want to just end up doing this work? Okay.
Yeah,
You do?
that's my
Cool.
long-term goal for this. Yeah.
I did too, and every time I tried to leave, he talked me into a little longer, and then finally I said, it's my time. My ego doesn't need this. I worked construction, so the fact that I could tell all the males what to do and figure out how to fix things when the males couldn't, I kind of enjoyed that. So, but what happened is my ego didn't need it anymore, and my readings had gone up like this because I did take the ego and took it to the side and realized Spirit was talking through me, so I didn't have to worry about right or wrong. Just tell the people, take it with you. And once I had reached that point, so he told me if I worked 2 more years, he would pay my Blue Cross till I was 65. So I said, so I took him up on it.
Okay.
So I got 3.5 years Blue Cross out of it, but it was hard doing both. It was really hard. He let me cut down to 4 days. So he helped me along, and I could take calls and everything in there. But I was much happier when I'm doing it full time.
Yeah.
That's my gig.
You can tell with you too.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's where I feel the most normal is doing this work for people.
absolutely.
Yeah, and then the energy healing work though, because I do the Reiki and the Sekhem, and I teach those 2 as well, though, too, and the Moonaki, right? So I'm pretty busy myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. This past weekend, I'm exhausted. I got to go to work this morning. Like, ugh, I just don't want to go because I'm so tired.
Yeah.
But anyway, such that it is, though. So, yeah.
Well, thank you very much it was great meeting everybody in person.
Yeah,
and
we enjoyed you having you on.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So you see yourself doing this for a while longer then?
I do. I think I'm going to take it till about 74, 75.
I'm trying for 80.
Are you? I don't know if I'm going to. 80 is a long time.
I said, I'll probably still be taking classes too. Because one of the reasons that I feel like I keep growing is I keep taking classes. And originally I took a lot of the classes because when they were coming through to me, the mediumship, I was feeling the death. And I don't care, but 1 second of a heart attack is not fun. So that's why I was pushing it away a little bit. But I took $5,000 worth of classes to figure out that all I had to do was ask them not to do that anymore. Sylvia Brown and her, just ask them not to.
I know that story.
You know that story,
I know
right?
that story, yeah.
So once that happened and I was able to put the boundaries on that, then I rocked right forward. I was fine.
Yeah.
But that's why I wasn't doing it, and they were pushing me to do it.
Gotcha.
But I'm so glad I took those classes too, because now I can teach them. And I just went down to Florida, and now I'm teaching clearer mediumship, where you get information about past lives and, you know, more information from them that I
Okay.
took down there with all other mediums.
didn't know that's what
36
it's
other
called.
mediums. It was incredible with Tony Stockwell from England. And so I do a lot of that stuff, and I figured around 80 I might stop taking classes.
Yeah, no, I still, I still take
Yeah, I
classes
think
with
I'll be
people,
right
too.
up there with you
And I'm
guys.
curious, you know, always
But you know what?
learning.
The
Yeah,
book